Good afternoon, world. It is moments past noon in Waxahachie, Texas, deep in the heart of the Lone Star State. And today is the 12th of February. This is our last show before Valentine's Day. Make sure you are all squared up and ready for it's on a Saturday this year. Wow. Episode number 119, 119 of Grit and Good News. And we're in our broadcasting from our studio in downtown Waxahachie in the shadows of the Ellis County Courthouse. Ably and capably manning the board, our man Sam. And I am your co-host, Jeff Lynch. And to my right is our other host, host, Scott Brooks.
Thank you everybody for being here. Hey Terry, welcome, bud. Uh, it's what's today? Thursday, the
Thursday,
12th,
all day.
2 days before Valentine's. So you guys better get your act together. Don't be buying a card for your wife tomorrow night at CVS or Saturday morning at CVS. I got plenty of flaws, believe me, but one of them is not preparing both my wife for Christmas for my wife, birthday for my wife, and Valentine's Day for my wife. And although I did forget our anniversary 3 years ago, which will stick with me forever. But
Yeah.
I also do that on our anniversary. So for Valentine's Day, it is the day to just recognize in a special way
Right.
the value of our wives in our lives.
And I tell you, if you wanted to go any place great for special for dinner, we found this out a couple of times. January 15th, if you call, yeah, we got a table for you at 10 o'clock. It's
Yeah.
hard to get in a good place. So we're going this year to Albernays, a great place that I've never been to
Where's that?
in Dallas and Uptown. And
On Saturday night?
no, we're going Friday night,
Oh yeah, well,
5:30. Uh,
cool.
so regarding cards, I got to tell you, in today's poem, it's called Greenville. It's a story about me finally breaking down and letting me publicly declare to my wife that I loved her.
Yeah.
She was a little bit ahead of me. And so we make this great trip to Greenville. And on the way home, we're on the airplane, and I grab in to book or something, and I realize, oh my gosh, here's my Valentine's card that I never gave you. She sees me pulling it out. She pulls hers out. We give them to each other.
Yeah.
We bought each other the
Oh,
same
that's funny.
card. And we
That's
said,
funny.
where'd you get that? Well, we both got it at CVS.
That's
So
too funny.
today we're both going to the same place with the idea of let's try to replicate that.
Yeah, that's funny.
Yeah.
So anyway, today is our 119th episode. So in a few minutes, Sammy will be telling us about famous, well-known athletes across all four sports, major sports that wore number 19. But before getting there, I want to tell you that we do the show every Tuesday and Thursday right here from Waxahachie, Texas, which is 30 minutes straight south of Dallas, downtown Dallas. I noticed the other day on our live show, we had 1,000. The number I saw was 1,000 people watching. So I'm assuming that not alive. Far more watch the show later on because not everybody can take their lunch break and watch us, although we wish they would. But
Anytime is good.
so we know that not all of you are from North Texas or Waxahachie or Ellis County or Dallas. So gives you a sense of where we are. So we do the show every Tuesday, Thursday, noon to 1 Texas time, which is Central Standard Time. We talk about a lot of different things, and just like we will be talking about today, we provide a bunch of content, including these two shows, including columns, opinion poems. Sammy collects really cool content. We do our content that we write. Jeff and I, audio. We have audio versions. You can find all of that on Substack.com. If you just search "Grit and Good News," you will see us there for $5 a month. You get a bunch of really good content. We think it's good content, and others have told us it's good content, so we'll believe them. A buddy of mine, actually, I'm getting to know him. He's from another county, but he has a Substack page, whatever brand, just like we do. His is called the Angry Jew.
Angry Jew.
And so yesterday it popped up on my email or something, and I just went to it and I said, you know what? He's the same as we are, $5 a month. So I said, I talk about people subscribing to us, but I need to subscribe to other people in hopes that he'll in turn subscribe to us. So it's a wash in terms of the money, but I subscribe to him. So there's so much good work done by so many people out there, people that we don't know, you don't know, but that they're not infected by the Washington D.C. bubble. They're not infected by all sorts of different things that most of the talking heads we know about are infected
Right.
with. So
Right.
that would be Jeff and me and Sammy. So there you have it. So number 19, Sammy, let's hear it.
Go, bro.
All right, NFL.
All right. Joe Montana was number 19 with the Chiefs,
Yeah, I got him.
although he was number 16 with the 49ers. Number 19, Johnny U.
Unitas.
Unite us.
Johnny Unitas
Sammy has a way with names,
for the
believe me.
Colts and the Chargers.
Sammy was born in 2004, so Unitas and these names, he's never heard of them.
Right.
And who was the other one, Sam? Montana, Unitas.
And then
Wait a minute,
going to
another 19. Is Scott Mitchell on there?
No.
Okay.
Lance Allworth.
Yep. Played for the Chargers.
Keyshawn Johnson for the Jets.
Yep.
Bernie Kosar,
Bernie Kosar.
Browns QB.
Yeah. Just had a liver transplant.
Joe Montana for the
Yeah.
Chiefs. Eddie Royal for the Browns. Tom Dempsey, kicker.
Peg, peg on his foot.
No, not a wooden peg. He just had a half foot. His foot was straight across.
Okay.
So it looked like
It looked
that.
like a wooden peg.
This kicker who held the
Oh,
record
yeah.
of 63
Yeah.
yards, he had half a foot,
Yeah.
which meant he could kick the ball. That's why the kickers use the side of their foot so that when they kick it, with their foot, you're kicking a ball standing up. You don't know, you got to hit it precisely the right spot. And so they kick it with the side of their foot like soccer players do. Tom
That's-
Dempsey didn't have to turn his foot. He just did this.
I believe what happened was that it was always straight ahead kickers, and then soccer players started doing it.
Yeah.
And then people found out that was a preferred way to do it.
Yeah. I mean, but he had the advantage,
Yeah.
if you want to call it that, of,
Well, it was square. Yeah.
yeah.
Terry coming in and saying Amari Cooper when he was with the Cowboys. That's a
That's
good
right.
one. That's a good one. I
He was
didn't get
number
that.
9 with Bama.
Yeah, and then last I got Brandon Marshall, Dolphins wide receiver.
Okay.
NBA.
NBA, I would
There's
say
nothing.
no, not Chris Mullin. He was 17. I don't know over 19.
Yeah, I don't either. I'm starting with Willis Reed
Yeah, way back.
for the Knicks, Lenny Wilkins
Yeah.
for the Hawks, Sam Cassell,
Yeah.
and Vern Mickelson.
Okay, good.
MLB.
Who was the first one? Say his name again. I forget.
Willis Reed.
Yeah, he was the one who was if you say to whatever, give me a video of Willis Reed, you'll get a video of him with the Knicks when he was limping. He hurt his leg, but he was still playing in the finals or something.
Oh,
He was quite the player. Big, tall lefty.
cool.
All right, baseball.
yeah, baseball.
I don't know. Baseball.
19.
I don't know.
Tony
Oh,
Guillaume.
Gwen. What were you gonna say?
Guillaume. I wrote it weird.
With the Padres,
Yes, with the
He died
Padres.
of mouth cancer. You know why?
chewing tobacco.
Yep. Skull, whatever.
All right. Robin Yount
Yep.
Yes.
for the Brewers.
Shortstop. Yep.
This one I know. Joey Votto for the Reds. Kind of a mean guy. Billy Pierce
Yeah.
for the White Sox, and then
Right.
Fred Lynn
Yeah. For the Red Sox.
for the Red Sox. NHL.
There
You
you
got
go.
any, Jeffrey?
Yeah.
Steve Eiserman.
Steve Eiserman, of course,
Yeah, that's my first one.
with the
Yeah.
wings. Go ahead.
Yzerman?
Yeah,
Eiserman.
Eiserman.
All right. Joe Sakic.
Sakic.
Joey Sakic.
Brian Trottier
Very nice.
for the Penguins. Larry Robinson.
Yeah.
Jonathan Towes.
Taze.
And then Joe Thornton.
Jumbo Joe.
And
Yeah.
that's all I
Those are
got.
good.
Brendan Shanahan.
Yeah.
Shane Doan.
I got more.
Nicholas Backstrom.
Dang.
And I am wearing today number 19. God rest your soul, Bill Masterton, who died 2 days after an on-ice collision in 1968 in January. That was the expansion season. The Stars were one of the 6 expansion teams in 67, 68. He died after this collision. Some say he'd had concussion previous to that. he had an interesting way of getting to the National Hockey League. He was a superstar for Denver in the Western Collegiate Hockey Association, won all kind of titles, all kind of awards. He got out of college. He signed with the Montreal Canadiens, who were full of great centers, and they put him down in the American Hockey League, and he never got a sniff at the big leagues. And he left and he went back to get his master's, and then he moved to Minneapolis and he went to work for Honeywell in the Apollo program.
Hmm.
And in 1964, he applied to get his amateur status back so he could play men's league hockey and play for the national team. And then when expansion came and the North Stars had him in the draft, it's the one team he would have gone to work for,
Hmm.
and then he dies.
Wow.
And then they retire his number not until 19 years later. They retired it at Minnesota, and it carried over to Dallas. And so right away at Old Reunion, his banner's there 19, the only number up there.
Nice.
And then Broughton gets in there, then Madonna, and we've got about 7 of them in right now. And they established the Masterton Trophy for him for the player that best exemplifies the qualities of
That's where I've heard that name. Yeah.
perseverance,
Yeah.
sportsmanship, and dedication to hockey. And it's one of the most beloved trophies. And you can't get it by scoring goals. You get it for those things.
Cool.
And a lot of great players have had it, and a lot
Yeah.
of nobodies.
That's where I've heard that name.
And there
Very
we got
good.
it.
Very good. All right. Just an update on a couple things. We just told you it's Valentine's Day in 2 days. Monday is President's Day. We're off, right, Sam?
Yeah.
Sammy wants every holiday off. I mean, I think Sammy wants April 15th off. Sammy wants
I call those
Halloween off.
they're government holidays.
Yeah, well, IRS Day isn't a holiday.
Well, so are you
Anyway,
giving it off?
no, heck,
Of course
what,
not.
President's Day?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, we do. Well, we work, 7 days a week. So anyway, Valentine's Day, you got that Mavs. Nothing really to say about the Mavs. They're tanking it. Just you heard it here. What?
Cooper Flag got an MRI yesterday. He's got a left sprain in his midfoot, and he's out for tomorrow's game and the All-Star break.
Tank.
Just
It's called tank.
Just open up my phone on a beautiful
All
Wednesday night, and I get a lame notification.
It's called tanking.
He is tanking. He's not injured. He was fine.
And I don't know who they're going to target when the draft rolls around, but the draft is in June.
Darian Peterson,
Who's he
AJ DeBansa,
Okay, whatever.
Kingston
Matter of
Flames.
fact, going back to drafting, the NFL draft is in April. Lots going on. We're going to be doing our top 10 picks here, not probably in sometime in March.
I saw in today's paper we've got the 12th and the 20th in the first round.
Yeah, we'll screw that up.
think in the
UFL, United Football League, is around the corner, starts next month. There are 8 teams there. It was called the Arlington Renegades, now it's called the Dallas Renegades. So for football lovers, just my wife won't be pleased to hear this. Although I don't watch the UFL.
I don't ever watch it.
But I do like to look at the logos and stuff like that. But that's around the corner. And then
Have you ever been out? Are they still playing at the old ballpark?
Yeah.
Boy, it's a bad thing when you got a baseball stadium with a football.
well,
field in
Yankee
the middle.
Stadium does it. I don't know if Fenway does it for bowl games. But it is kind of weird,
It's bad.
oblong.
It's bad seats.
And then golf. So we know, matter of fact, Tiger Woods, my man, a Tiger logo better not be coming off,
no,
but the
it's okay.
Tiger Sunday Red logo is my favorite logo in apparel. So anyway, that we'll blink and it'll be Masters time, and I cannot wait. Matter of fact, this weekend is the Pebble Beach Pro-Am, which is always a great tournament.
Always, yes.
So
Did
golf.
you see where Tiger's son is
Yeah,
going to
signed with
college?
Florida
State.
State. Yeah, I mean,
And
I don't.
he'll enter the recruiting class in 27. So I
Yeah,
guess
I mean, imagine having those shoes to fill.
did Tiger go to college?
Tiger went to Stanford.
Stanford, yeah.
Yeah, but Tiger was at 3 years old. He was on the Ed Sullivan show showing how he could play.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
His
So
dad
anyway,
was a big military guy, and
Yep.
he was very stringent with him. Hey,
Yep.
what about Lindsey Vonn and Tiger? How did it?
yeah,
what
they
happened
dated
to
for a
that?
while. They dated for a while, and then
You know
like
what?
most, they just
Yeah.
went their separate ways. Tiger's now engaged to Trump's former daughter-in-law, Donald Trump Jr.'s ex-wife.
Okay.
Yeah, so matter of fact, the young lady, the golfer, Ty is her name,
Yeah.
Trump's granddaughter. That's Tiger Woods will be her stepdad.
Okay.
Pretty interesting, huh? So anyway, there you have it. So our Tarnations. So for those of you new to the show, Jeff, Sammy, and I talk about the Tarnations in the world, which are, if you remember, uh, Jed Clampett from Beverly Hillbillies, instead of saying, the nasty version of, WTF or whatever they say these days, things you say, what in the world is going on around here? Jed Clampett used to say, what in the tarnation is going on? So our Tarnations, every show we provide you with a few, and that is to say, there are things going on that are just absurd, totally absurd. I pointed one out the other day, was the mayor of Waxahachie right here at home, acting like an idiot in a council meeting, telling citizens that her bosses what to do, and we're not going to give up on
And to
that.
sit down.
We're not going to give up on that. When it comes to our election time, which is next year, we'll repeat all of this because it needs to be known. So, what do you have for Tarnations today?
So Rita called me in to let me see something on our phone. We got our man Tom Homan, who's been
Yeah.
up in Minnesota, and he's talking about how suddenly they're having great success up there because they're getting cooperation with local sheriffs, allowing them access to come to the jails and get people and notify them that people are in the jail. And we've talked before
Yeah.
about that whole sanctuary city being the downfall up there. And I'm thinking, this is terrific to hear. And then I'm reading more. And how does that happen? Because of Tom Homan going to sheriffs and pleading his case. And then I've told you that as much as I don't like I think when I Google, I get my responses so complete and so fast.
Yeah.
And so I Google this up 3 or 4 different ways, trying to figure out whether our man, happy go lucky, Governor Tim, had anything to do with this. And I'm not saying he didn't, but I'm saying if I couldn't find it 3 or 4 ways of Googling, then it's all
Yeah.
and then Knucklehead Fry. So the people who could have been doing this all along, should have been doing this all along. They got to wait till Minneapolis is torn to dickens. They
Mhm.
got to wait till everybody in the state is in a lather. They got to wait until the whole world wants to protest. They got to wait until all that happens. And they got to wait for 2 deaths to occur in that process of which did not have to happen. And if you go to the root cause of those deaths,
Yeah.
I'm saying the root cause is that those people should never have been there because there should have never been anything to protest because they were not doing things the right way in Minnesota. I'm done.
Yeah. I don't think we'll ever hear from Tim Walls or Fry about this much more. What, as you just said, what has happened now is what should have happened, and that they because they were so against the right thing happening, they're not gonna. I don't think they have the courage, the guts, the integrity, credibility, whatever, to come out and say, you know what, we should have done this. They should have. They should, if they were good people, would come out and say what you just said. We should have done this before, and it's a sad thing to cost so much stuff and life and all that for politics. It's incredible.
And
It's incredible.
a better man would swallow his pride.
Yeah, well, that's true. My one tarnation for today is that, for, as we've heard, Epstein, 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 Epstein. I mean, I'm so sick of hearing about it. I don't know what to do. However, for the entire Obama administration, and certainly for Biden's administration, and those are 12 years in total in the aggregate. So there were 12 years. They were longer than that, but certainly 12 years for the left to be able to expose anyone on the right who had any relationship with Epstein, namely Donald Trump and those in the administration. Uh, but we didn't hear anything. During the Biden administration, we didn't hear jack about Epstein, and certainly in the Obama administration, we didn't hear much about Epstein. But suddenly Trump becomes president the second time around, and now they're having, just like yesterday, they had a hearing in Congress on Capitol Hill with Pam Bondi about Epstein. And the left is up there just blathering at the mouth about how it was Bondi handled it wrong and blah, 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 and how things are being hidden and what have you. Again, these are people who could have, if Trump had any relationship with Epstein, or was doing any pedophilia anywhere, the left could have exposed that since 2008, uh, and they haven't. So there is none. In addition, Epstein files, there were, as Bondi said yesterday, 3 million documents released. In those documents that were released, it has now been discovered that Trump is the one who, I, I don't, it's not the right word, but for lack of a better word, whistleblower was the one who called and informed the FBI and I guess the government, Justice Department, whomever. I don't know exactly who he talked to, but I know those entities became aware of Epstein's stuff. So Trump was,
In what kind of time frame?
I don't, this goes back, I think, to the Obama years, but I'll
Okay.
need to confirm that. At the same, so Trump, the left wants you to believe that Trump it was tight with Epstein, when in fact Trump was the one who blew the whistle on Epstein. And then the other part of that is that Trump banned Epstein from Mar-a-Lago. So I mean, I look, it's no different than I worked with a guy in Buffalo, by example, the senior VP of circulation at a very big newspaper. He was my peer. And in May of 1997, or in 1997, it was discovered through an audit that, and it was an independently owned newspaper owned by Warren Buffett. But in an audit, we discovered that there was over $1 million of circulation. He was over circulation revenue that was missing. What we found out is that he had created a scheme by which, and just imagine this scheme,
I
by
can't wait.
which that $1 million was almost all of it was in the form of coins that had been back then was big time racks. You know, racks where people were putting in money to get newspapers out of racks
Right.
on the street. Over I don't know how many years, I can't remember, but many years, he had developed a scheme with cohorts in his department to embezzle $1 million. And that scheme included coins.
Skimming quarters.
So imagine what whatever, take the largest denomination of a coin, I guess would be a dollar, silver dollar. If all that was done in silver dollars, $1 million, that's 1 million pieces of a
Well,
coin.
yeah, those machines were set up for quarters, though.
Yeah, they
So
were.
that's
So
4 million.
yeah, it was true. So those were quarters. So imagine $1 million in quarters. Uh, he was a real big guy, bigger than you ever dreamt of being. And the joke up there was he really only weighed about 100 pounds. The rest of it was quarters. But he ended up getting 4 years in Attica prison in
Wow.
Western New York. So, uh, but he had been a friend of mine. Matter of fact, the day before this broke and he was arrested, he and I had lunch. And I would have never in my wildest dreams thought that he had done something like this. Matter of fact, he used to wear a cross around his neck as a devout Catholic and honored that religion. And so we had no concept. But after that, I was still willing to be there for him. He committed a wrong and he's paid the price. But I couldn't I couldn't be I couldn't hang out with him anymore. It just wasn't the same. And so I think about these people who knew Epstein at one time, then discovered what he was up to, and then you separate yourself from that. You know better than to be a part of that. Uh, and so people might have seen me and this guy in Buffalo at lunch the day before he was arrested and indicted and put in jail, then
Yeah.
prison, and assumed that I had something to do with it. When in fact, none of us at the executive level had any idea that this had happened. So it's just the tarnation here is that it's just the left is so stinking slimy when it comes to this stuff.
Yeah. Couple things on this whole Epstein situation and as it relates to Trump. The left, you know, millions and millions of photos come out and they get so lathered up when they see a picture of Donald Trump in it. And he might be in a picture with Melania and Epstein and his
Yeah.
wife, but oh my gosh, they're being seen in public together. If you haven't had enough exposure to the man in there's 30 public pictures of you. then you don't have the information to go to the FBI and tell him he's a jerk.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And my other thought is this whole swirl really got rolling after the death in prison because we wouldn't be worrying about Epstein files if we still had an Epstein
Yeah.
to be talking about,
Well, he needed to be, yeah,
right?
he's like
I mean,
this Lane Maxwell. Either she's gonna chirp or she's gonna plead the fifth.
right.
That's what Epstein would have done. But it's just an example of how rotten I think our politics has become. And when you said earlier that really the core of the problem in Minnesota rests with or is, as Jesse Waters calls Walsh, Tampon Tim,
He
and Jacob.
started that
Yeah,
himself, you know.
yeah, he did. And Jacob Fry, I will say that I believe the core, well, the bedrock of our problems is that we have kicked God out of society by and large. But the other part of it is that the core of our problems are found in Washington, D.C. It all spreads from there. It's like the old fish rots from the head down. So anyway, let's talk about, speaking of problems, let's talk about What a Crock Jazzy. That's the new name for Jasmine Crockett. Sammy, you got a video, right? Let's only set the context up, and then we'll show you the video. She is running for the Senate. Texas, one of the Texas seats in the Senate, the United States Senate. She is running against James Tellerico and another, maybe more than one other guy, but they're not. I think this is all going to come down to Tallarico and Jazzy, as it were, and have some receipts, as they say, to validate that. But Jasmine Crockett. So we live in the greatest, I argue, the greatest state that this country has ever known, and we live in the greatest country the world has ever known. Despite our problems, they are far less than most other places. Uh, and and as I said during the Biden years, the best we could come up with is Biden. And so I say in Texas, the best elect is Jasmine Crockett and James Tellerico, who just creeps me out. But anyway, this is about Jasmine Crockett. So Sammy, play the video and then we'll talk a little bit more about her.
Not stopping. So I want people to understand that House Democrats, we are going to be on their asses. Like, that's just the reality.
And what is your message to President Trump in that case?
Same thing. We're going to be on his ass. I mean, you know, it is so. I don't really know where we are in this country. Why are we even having this conversation? The United States is falling apart right now. Partially because he's going out and randomly allowing for the killings of people in the middle of the street. But the other part of it is that we have a 34-count convicted felon, and there are people that are still shielding him from any type of accountability as it relates to a child sex trafficking ring. It is time to take the blinders off. Like, I don't understand why we are pretending like any of this is normal. And I think that that is the level of frustration that so many people are bringing, whether you're a Democrat, Republican, or independent, specifically to the Epstein file situation. We are not stopping. So I want people.
So there you have it. I was, obviously, you know that I've been in not in politics, but covered politics, all parts of this country, and certainly here in Texas. Jasmine Crockett is it's blame shifting for sure to say that Trump is the source of our problems. I just mentioned that I think it's all can be found in Congress, both the Senate and in the House. Even with Biden, I don't think Biden was the problem. It was those around him. And so Crockett is a part, whether we like it or not, she's a loudmouth part of Congress, and is wanting to have a louder, bigger place in Congress. But she talks about how the country's falling apart, yet she's sitting there saying to and about the person that she ultimately should be working with to achieve great things, saying we're just going to be on his ass. It's like locally, I mean, me going after Brian Harrison, a guy who in 4+ years hasn't achieved one single thing. I don't understand. I don't understand the concept of that being okay.
Yeah, and after she used that term, when they were talking about the lead into that story, I was expecting way worse because we've heard
We heard her say
we've
worse.
heard way worse
Mhm.
than that. But when they kind of got on her about that, she said, "I think in this moment that you have to understand that politics have changed." And yeah, you're part of the
Yeah.
changing of the of politics taking it deeper down into the toilet bowl of
No
life.
doubt.
You know,
I think what we're witnessing with this kind of uh, talk, although she can't help herself, is that she's now running for an office. You know, in the House of Representatives, you can be a Swalwell, you can be a loudmouth goober and get away with it, or it be kind of the norm. But in the Senate, there's a bit more decorum over there,
hmm
and so she's trying to not honor that. I think she's trying to stay within those lines, and so you don't. It's not as wild. I saw a video last night on a news source of her saying that she is highly intellectual. She's saying about herself, highly intellectual and problem solver. She was in the top 10 in her class at Texas Southern, blah, blah, blah. I mean, we've heard that before from a guy named Biden that talked about how he was tops in his class. Ultimately, 40 years later, he had to admit he admitted it along the way, but that it ultimately was a lie. I think we're finding the same thing with Jasmine Crockett. We would love to have her in on this show. She just lives down the road, so to speak, and we'd love to have her on this show and have a respectful conversation. But I guarantee you, even me, dummy old me, could expose her for not knowing what she's talking about. She just said that Trump essentially is responsible for a program, uh, ICE, that's killing innocent people in the streets, and so if you didn't know any better, you'd say, well, wow, how can that be happening? When in fact, we're talking about two people who nobody deserves to be killed unless they're hurting one of our loved ones or their or anybody, so I'm not in favor of shooting somebody just to be shooting somebody. But I can tell you, if I walk up to a Waxahachie cop and I've got a 9 millimeter on my hip, which I do at times, and so does Sammy, um, and I either pull it or I make sure they know I have it, and we're fighting and all that sort of thing, and I either look like I'm reaching for it or claim that I'm going to reach for it, it's not going to end well. So it's not like two innocent people get shot, but that's what they go with. So let me just share with you as it relates to the recent polling on this race between Jasmine Crockett and Tallarico. Let me see what the other guy's name is. Oh, Ahmad Hassan is another one. The Democrats, this is a poll released Monday uh, out of Houston, the public Hobby School of Public Affairs at the University of Houston. So that's the group that did the poll.
And in this primary, if you get 50%, then you run. If you get less than that, the
You can
top
run
two
off.
will run off.
Yep. So here's what Democrat voters in a poll just 3 days ago said about who they will vote for uh, in what is 2 weeks or so, 3 weeks. According to the poll, 47% of likely Democratic voters, intend to vote for
Jazzy.
Jasmine Crockett, while 39% said they would vote for State Rep James Tallarico. He's in the state Capitol Hill, the Capitol in Austin as a state representative. So 47% for Jasmine Crockett, 39% for Tallarico. Ahmad Hassan got the backing of 2% of unlikely voters. Undecided voters uh, equal 12% of the poll. So I I don't understand. I guess you got to choose from what you're given, right? So the Democrats have put up Jasmine Crockett and James Tallarico. And for those of you that don't know James Tallarico, obviously he's a Democrat. He's a preacher, pastor, minister, whatever you want to call him. Uh, he's a man of the cloth, let's put it that way. And he's pro-abortion and all the other pro-liberal things, which is an oxymoron if there ever was one, to be a pastor and pro-abortion. But 47% of the people will, according to this, will vote for Crockett, 39% for Tallarico, and 12% are undecided. A
Don't you
majority of
think that if either one of those could court our number three for an endorsement, that would put either one of them over the top and avoid the runoff?
say that again.
If she could, if either Jazzy or Tellerico would court the guy that's number three and say,
Oh
hey,
yeah. Or there's 12% of independents or people who
yeah,
haven't made up their mind, undecided. I don't think in that race there's going to be a runoff. That's my opinion. I could be wrong. A majority of Democratic voters said they knew enough about Crockett and Tallarico to have an opinion of them. Crockett had a favorability rating of 84%, while Tallarico had 79% favorability. Now,
It's of
look,
Democrats, though.
I know, but let's just say, let's shield who the person is, put them behind a curtain.
Okay.
And matter of fact, let's just change the voice of both, because we got a male and a female, Tallarico and Crockett. Put them behind the curtain, make their voices the same. Just listen to what they say and decide. It's how anyone could find Jasmine Crockett favorable is a a a, a poll, I guess you call it a fact, that I just cannot get my mind around. I cannot get, and there are people on the right same way. If I can't get why certain people on the right are popular. I just don't. I don't like, like Mitt Romney. Why would anybody find him favorable in anything? I mean, he ran the Olympics in a great way, but we're not talking about the Olympics here. So, with respect to Republican voters in the same poll, according to the poll, 38% of likely Republican voters intend to vote for Texas Attorney General Ken Paxton, while 31% said they would vote for incumbent Senator John Cornyn. 17% said they would vote for Wesley Hunt. Other candidates, I don't know how many of them there are, I can't remember, got 2%, while 12% of those voters are also undecided. So we have Ken Paxton, who I think is a bulldog of an attorney general. He's had his issues in office. Those are clearly out there, and he's going through a nasty divorce, or he was. So 38% there, 31% for Cornyn. I do believe Wesley Hunt only got 2%, but I think he's a stronger third place candidate than Ahmad Hassan for the Democrats. So whether or not this will be a runoff is more likely to me than the Democrats. But Cornyn is a guy who I'm sure he's a likable guy, but I've just never been, he's too much of a, what they say, establishment for me. So I think Ken Paxton is in a good spot, as we talked about on Tuesday's show. TPUSA has endorsed him, Charlie Kirk's organization, which I think is a pretty big deal. So that was before this poll was taken. Most Republican voters say they knew enough about the candidates to have an opinion of them. Paxton had a favorability rating of 72%, Hunt 70%, and Cornyn 61%. Isn't that interesting? So
The one who's the
so
most
Hunt,
known, yeah.
70% of the people are favorable about Wesley Hunt, but he's only getting in this poll 2% of the vote.
He's a representative from Houston.
Yeah. African American. I think he's pretty sharp, but I think I'm not going to vote for him. But that's an interesting.
Let me just give you one Tallarico thought. And in a state where we got 30 congressional seats, I mean,
Something like that.
I don't know about every congressman in Washington from Texas by any means, but this Tallarico, on the national news, he's running the commercial quite regularly. He gets up there, and you know what? He's a handsome,
Articulate.
Yep. Well-groomed guy.
Yeah.
Right. And he gets up there and he starts talking about how when he first started getting diabetes, it's not just a fat guy disease. It comes a lot of ways. And he went, and that insulin shot was $600. And when I got into office, I went to Big Pharma and I got it changed, and now it's like $25. Like, I got it changed.
Yeah.
I don't think you got it changed, and I don't like your attitude, dude. I don't like that one bit.
Well, he can't get he as a single person. It's just like Brian Harrison. Brian Harrison says
I
he
got it
made a
changed.
post today. He says, "I saved. You can thank me essentially because I saved you from transgenderism, all this other stuff being taught at Texas A&M." Brian Harrison hasn't done anything other than state that he's done it. He can't. No one person can do any of that. No, they can't. They simply cannot. No one person on this planet, including Trump, can do anything on his own in politics. You have to have a network. And that's the problem with Brian Harrison. He has no network. He's a lone wolf. And anyway, I don't want to get sidetracked with him. But you're right. Tallarico is a lot like Harrison. Although Harrison, if you watch Harrison in the forum the other night, just screaming and yelling, and the dude acts like he's on speed or something, like slow down, or you're gonna fall over or run off the stage or something. It's bizarre.
God bless us all.
Yes, God bless us all. All right, Sammy, cue up the North Carolina Republican state guy, Alan Chesser. This setup here, these are almost all Tarnations, but they're very real. And I think it's the reason we talk about these things is because the question is, are these things representative of our political candidate base or office holders out there? Is it indicative of that massive group of people at large? Is it indicative? So if you just saw me and I act a certain way, and I'm a big Alabama fan, but I was the only one acting like a whatever, positive or negative. The question is, are you going to assume that all Alabama fans are like me, or are you going to assume I'm just one of many, many, many different styles? It's a legitimate question. So whenever I see what you're about to see happen multiple times with multiple people, just like if you were to see other people that I don't know and that don't know me out there, and they're acting similarly to me as an Alabama fan, you can say, well, that's how Alabama fans act. Or if they're acting a lot different, you would say, well, that's just Scott. You know, he's a knucklehead. So I say that about these candidates. So is about what you're about to see indicative of what's happened to our political environment, our political population in America today?
I want to read this comment real quick.
Okay.
We got Chuck. Chuck is here. Hey,
Hey,
Chuck.
Chucky.
He says, saw a commercial by the conservatives calling Hunt a rhino due to him aligning himself with AOC. Just because someone is endorsed by someone or a group doesn't mean they are good for a office.
Yes, that's true. And the thing about rhino, I mean, imagine this. I have been called in the post columns I've written lately, particularly going after Brian Harrison. People have called me a rhino. Matter of fact, to take it even a step further, they call me a liberal. And I'm like, do you even know who it is you're talking to, or who it is that you are writing that about? I mean, how much more can a man do just by his nature to be thought of as the opposite of a rhino than my life? And yet that's what happens to people. They resort, and I'm not saying anything about Wesley Hunt, whether he is or whether he isn't, but it's so easy these days to label people, and there's wrong with it. So that's why I asked the question. What you're about to see has been, I've seen others. Jasmine Crockett is a perfect example. But you listen to a hearing on Capitol Hill, and you'll ask a question will be asked of somebody that should absolutely know what it is they're talking about when it comes to our country, our Constitution, the facts about our country, blah blah blah. It's like a congressman in Georgia once saying he was concerned that Guam was going to tip over if too many people moved to one side of the island.
Right.
Is it? How do these people get there?
And
And
so now you're saying a sheriff should know who he works
this
for.
isn't a sheriff. This is he may be is he a sheriff now, Sammy?
I think.
Yeah, Democrat sheriff.
Yeah.
Who has long opposed. This is a guy who was taken by surprise when a Democratic sheriff who has long opposed cooperating with U.S. immigration and custom enforcement could. Yeah. So this is a guy that's running for office. He's a current sheriff in North Carolina, Democrat sheriff. And he's woke, all that sort of thing. He's asked a question in a hearing, 3 questions, and these are the questions, and this is the response.
To classify your position as the highest law enforcement officer in the county, would that be a fair description?
That's correct.
Okay. And as such, you made reference earlier that you're a constitutional office. My colleague made reference that there are constitutional divisions amongst responsibilities between us and you. What branch of government do you operate under?
Mecklenburg County.
What branch of government do you operate under, Sheriff?
Constitution of the United States.
Correct. That is what establishes the branches of government. I'm asking which branch you fall under.
Mecklenburg County. I'm a duly sworn Mecklenburg County Sheriff. We answer to the people of Mecklenburg County.
This was not where I was anticipating getting stuck. Are you aware of how many branches of government there are?
No.
Okay. For the sake of debate, I will move on and say there are 3 branches of government: legislative, executive, judicial. Of those 3, which do you believe you fall under?
I believe I fall under the last one,
Would you say it to me?
judicial.
Okay. You are incorrect, sir. You fall under the executive. And as a member of the executive, what do you believe your primary function is?
Care and custody of those in my custody at the Mecklenburg County Detention Center.
Okay. That is part of what your responsibilities as sheriff are, sure. But as a member of the executive, your primary function is to execute upon the law, to enforce the law. Okay? And again, I'm not trying to be rude, not trying to be combative, just walking you through the paces. I used to wear a badge as well.
Obviously, those weren't the catch questions that I was
Okay.
thinking we were gonna get him on.
So, I'm no fan, never have been, never will be of gotcha. Matter of fact, it makes me really uncomfortable. That's why I say if we had Jazzy Crockett in here, or even a Brian Harrison or anybody that I opposed for anything, I honestly I wouldn't play gotcha. I would ask a question, and a sincere, authentic, genuine question to get
Yeah.
an answer.
I think he was kind of loaded the way he asked questions. I think if he had asked them a different way, the guy would have known him, and I kind of felt sorry
Well,
for
when
the
you're
guy.
playing, I don't know that the guy was intentionally playing gotcha. He says that he really wasn't. But when you are in a gotcha environment, everything's going to come out as though
Yeah.
I'm getting you. But this is a guy, a sheriff, running for office that doesn't know the basic elements uh, of his of the structure. I guess is the best way of saying it. And I remember in high school in California being asked at one time in a class, how many why this sticks with me, Mr. Fritz asked me in the class, Brooks, how many justices are on the Supreme Court? And I remember saying 7. And he didn't play gotcha. He wasn't playing gotcha, and he didn't embarrass me. But I was wrong.
Right.
And I have known since then as much as I can about Supreme Court.
Right.
And so you would think if I'm going to run for office, that I'm gonna know these questions. I'm gonna know which branch. Now there'll be some questions I'm not gonna know the answer to. You can get so into the weeds that
Right.
I'm not gonna know, and I would just say I don't know. He said he didn't know about certain things, but the judicial, Department of Justice, FBI, all that stuff. Then you got executive, president, and then you got the legislative, Congress. Those aren't unusual things to know.
I
That
know,
you
but
should
he
know them.
didn't really phrase it like everybody knew where he was coming with it.
Yeah,
I just didn't.
it was an
He,
uncomfortable setting.
yeah.
The ultimate question here is when it's like right now with these all. I made an endorsement for John Garrett for House District 10. I think John will be an outstanding state representative. Truth is, if John weren't in the race, I would have been passionate about Matt Authier winning. I would have been passionate over uh, you know, Rex, the big red dog, winning over Harrison. But the truth is, I need to know what it is I'm talking about before
Right.
I start saying this or that. Same, if I'm running for office, I'm going to know what it is I should be talking about here, what I should know. And it just seems like, and we have this here, people run for office and they don't know what they're doing, or they've got an ulterior motive that has nothing to do with the job. Billy, do you think? And I know people like Billy Wallace. I'm not. That's okay. But do you think Billy Wallace knew the other night that she was entirely out of order when she told a citizen to sit down? The citizen who was in their time frame, their constitutional rights, blah blah blah, was not being disrespectful. None of that stuff. To go sit down, or I'll have you escorted out. Do you think she knew that she can't do that? I don't think she did. I think she just assumed that because she's a mayor, that she has that power. Truth is, it's going to come back to bite her.
Yeah. You know,
It's happening too
I've
far.
been thinking a lot about how she performed in other clips I've seen of her, and I'm wondering if part of it has to do with her law enforcement background, where you do have a lot of authority on a lot of things all the time, and so I think she just assumes that she can carry that same sort of uh, authority from law enforcement to politics in it, and it doesn't translate. And I also think that as she rose through the police department here in town, she was a woman, and she was with that department over 20 years. You go back to w- where were women in law enforcement 20 years ago? She is in the very shallow end of
Mm,
that gene pool,
yeah.
and so she kind of had to fight for everything she had, and I think she just has a little bit of a certain sort of chip
Yeah, I think
in her
that's
shoulder.
kind of you're making my point, both from a informational knowledge,
Yeah,
educational standpoint, and from a temperament, how to leadership, understanding what leadership is. Billy doesn't know, obviously, that the way she handled herself the other night and at other times is not how you handle yourself. And so the lack of preparation, the whole desire to be a mayor can trump, pardon the expression, can trump the need it is to understand what a mayor is supposed to be and
right.
do. So that's the real issue for me. So there you have it. It's a concern I think we ought to all be aware of who we vote for and understand what we're doing with our votes. All right, so we got a poem today. Let's hear about it.
It's my little love poem to my wife on Valentine's Day, and I wrote this in 2015. And excuse me, I wrote it in 2025 about 2015.
Okay.
Okay. 10 years ago today in Greenville, we did stray for our first Valentine's Day and still in love today. Tulips in a purple vase put a smile on my Rita's face. Simply signed, with love, our room was now a special place. When a barbershop quartet crooned in the hotel lobby, she knew our romance was my new hobby. Next was a concert with Jason Aldean. I gotta tell you, it was a rockin' scene. We went to see minor league hockey in our matching Gretzky sweaters. Got dissed by Kiss Cam, was the least of our matters. Had many a great meal, including the Tupelo Cafe. This inspired a nickname that Rita still cherishes today. A wine pairing dinner was a special dining treat. Each glass matched the food. We thought it was really neat. First class upgrade on our flight home. Our Valentine's cards were the same. This couple was off to the Hall of Fame.
Very good. Very good. All right. It's time for day in history. What do we got?
What's that? Oh, gosh. Good luck, gentlemen. Your big friend here came in with a solid 3-5 after opening 0-4. So have fun. Here we
All
go.
right, let's do it.
Lady Jane Grey, who had claimed the throne of England for 9 days, and her husband, Guilford Dudley, were beheaded after being condemned for high treason.
1893.
We ought to go back to that.
It's pretty effective.
1798.
1554.
Jeez,
Yeah,
that's
there's no way.
absurd. We don't need to
I
go
thought
back that far.
1610 was a pretty solid guess. Here we go. Abraham Lincoln, the 16th president of the United States, was born in a log cabin near Hodgenville, Kentucky.
1811.
Oh, good, Sammy. 1811.
1809.
He was president in
Sammy,
1860,
I'm
right?
impressed. Sammy
Yeah.
did some math in his head.
Yeah, and I hairballed up in 1800 and that one
Yeah,
getting
so
it
he
done.
was 56 when he was killed.
Yeah, I thought he was a little older than that.
Yeah.
That's why I went with the 1800.
Yeah.
The National Association for the Advancement of Colored People, the NAACP, was founded in New York City. Little poem there.
1891.
No, I'm going to say
I like it. I like it when he speaks up so that
yeah,
he doesn't get accused of
1935.
following you.
30
1909.
Oh,
I
what'd
was
you say,
close.
Sammy?
1891.
And that put me to 0-3. And here comes my 0-4. Groundbreaking took place for the Lincoln Memorial in Washington, D.C.
1949.
I'm going to say 56.
I thought surely it was an FDR project, but it wasn't. It was 1914.
Wow,
Wow.
that's way back. Have you, Sammy, did you see it did you go to DC?
No, I've never
No.
been to DC.
Have you been there, Jeff? To
Yeah.
the Lincoln Memorial? A
once.
massive statue.
The Senate voted to acquit President Bill Clinton in his impeachment trial on charges of perjury and obstruction of justice.
That had to be
1951.
Bill
No.
Clinton?
Oh, I
I'll
didn't
give
hear.
you another one. I don't think you were thinking.
I didn't hear
Let
the.
Dad go first on this one.
Yeah,
All
Bill
right.
Clinton,
1994.
1990.
1999.
Oh my gosh.
Missed it by that much, Sammy. Okay. He he was still in office was he in office then? When did he leave office? 2002, I think. Yeah, I was way early.
No. He was voted in 92 and 96.
So 2000. Yeah, that's right.
He lost the 2000 or
No, he didn't lose
2000
it. Gore
election.
lost it. Yeah.
Okay. The Senate, I'm sorry. Former Yugoslav President Slobodan Milosevic went on trial in The Hague,
Yeah.
charged with genocide and war crimes.
Yeah.
2010.
He and his wife were both killed as a result of that. 2002.
The bonus is in
Oh,
effect, young
yeah.
man. Good job.
Thank you.
I
bud.
missed it by one.
Pope Francis embraced Patriarch Kirill in the first meeting between a pontiff and the head of the Russian Orthodox Church. The meeting in Havana was a landmark development in the 1,000-year schism that has divided Christianity.
Which Pope?
That was our man Francis.
2023.
2018.
16.
Booyah. Is
And
that
we,
the last
my
one?
God.
and we
Nope.
close with this one. I wish I had the bonus, but I didn't. Mexico's most notorious drug lord, Joaquin El Chapo Guzman, was convicted in New York of running an industrial scale drug smuggling operation, murder, and money laundering. That's a lot of stuff.
It had to be 24.
22.
It didn't have to be 24 because it was 19.
We both got it. All right, good. I ended up 6-3.
I got one
I'll
right.
take it.
Dude,
I'll take it.
way to school me.
All right. Let me switch. Let me do a costume change here. So,
Just
I got to
like the
do
Grammys.
our true and false thingy. All right. So, true facts that sound like BS. Here we go, boys.
Try me
This is
on.
a music one. Are you up for it, Sam?
I'm up for it.
We're always up for it.
Up
aren't
for
we?
it. All right. True or false? The Beatles, when they broke up, it actually happened at Disney World. True or false? Sometime today.
True.
Jeffrey?
I'll go true. Otherwise, why
Well,
would
it's
you be
Disney
making up
World and then what, Disney Park?
Disneyland?
There's
Well, I'll say
Disneyland
it
in
happened. I'll say
California.
false. It happened at Disneyland.
The Beatles' breakup happened at Disney World.
Oh,
John Lennon signed the paperwork formalizing the band's split while staying at a Disney World hotel.
oh.
Booyah.
There you go.
All right. Our show is sponsored by Hoosier Custom Meats right here. Maggie, Moo, and the crew. Hoosier Custom Meats. Hoosier spelled Hooser. They have all kinds of meats grown on the farm, open range, whatever. I'm not a farmer and don't want to pretend to be one, but I do like steak. I do like beef jerky. I do like whatever, pork chop. I don't know, whatever it is. Hoosier Custom Meats has it all. They're fun. They're good people, down to earth. They can be reached at HooserCustomMeats.com, HOOSER CustomMeats.com. You can also call them at 903-688-1446. It's from their farm and ranch to your table. We would suggest you give them a call for your needs. Tell them Grit and Good News sent you. Jeffrey?
Yes, sir. Make it a great day and put a smile on somebody's face.
Very good.
Boom.